Nintendo hasn't given us much to go on regarding the story of the upcoming sequel to Breath of the Wild. However, one clue has managed to get out there related to the ancestors of a champion. Well, today I'm going to check out this potential story beat and look at what it means for Breath of the Wild 2. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Legend of Zelda content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. Well, before we get into the main topic for the video today, I'm going to talk about potential spoilers for Breath of the Wild 2, so I should caveat this by saying this hasn't been confirmed by Nintendo yet, so it's all up for grabs. However, I am also going to be spoiling plot points from the original Breath of the Wild, so if you don't want to be spoiled, then click away now. Well, there was an interview originally found by Reset Era user by the name of Alexander Wand and featured on the Zelda-focused YouTube channel Lega Hyrule, who shared an interview with Deruk's voice actor, Pietro Ubaldi. In the interview, Ubaldi said he voiced Deruk in the sequel, plus also one of Deruk's ancestors. Now, given at the end of Breath of the Wild, Deruk's spirit passes into the afterlife, it makes Deruk's appearance in the sequel to Breath of the Wild very, very interesting indeed. In theory, this could be a flashback sequence to the past, where we get to find out more about Deruk, perhaps even his family too. Given Ubaldi said he's voicing more Goron characters, potentially they could be ancestors of Deruk. Well, Deruk was the warrior Goron champion, and one of the appointed members tasked with piloting the divine beasts in the war against Calamity Ganon 100 years ago. He was the pilot of the divine beast Vah Rudania, and Deruk was ultimately killed when Calamity Ganon corrupted and seized control of the divine beasts, pitting him against the fire-blight Ganon. His legacy, though, is kept alive by the Goron people, who've got a stone statue in his likeness overlooking Goron City. Well, the implications of the details given away by Ubaldi are very interesting, and it could give us some clues as to why we've seen two links in the trailers so far for Breath of the Wild 2. Playing with time is a major component of a few Legend of Zelda games, even in Breath of the Wild, where Link wakes up 100 years after Calamity Ganon laid waste to Hyrule, and we see loads of flashbacks back to 100 years ago. If one of Deruk's ancestors is going to appear in the game, then we could be going even further back in time, and we have seen references to 10,000 years ago in the tapestries and the legends told in Breath of the Wild. Well, the history of Hyrule is closely intertwined with the history of the appearance of Ganon over the ages, and the beast was known to have been turned back repeatedly by a warrior with a hero spirit and a princess who carried the blood of a goddess through various tales and legends. So one legend told is that 10,000 years ago, the land of Hyrule had become very technologically advanced, so much so that monsters were considered little threat. The Hylians crafted technological marvels to ensure the kingdom's safety if Ganon was ever to return, and among these technical marvels was a legion of autonomous guardians and 4 divine beasts. And the divine beasts were piloted by 4 individuals of exceptional skill from across Hyrule, known as champions. Well, upon Ganon's return, the Princess of Hyrule and the hero fought with the other champions and their divine beasts against Ganon, and the Guardians protected the hero while the divine beast laid siege upon Ganon until the hero could unleash his final blow and allow the princess to use her sacred power to seal away the beast. Well, that story sounds very, very familiar indeed, and it was repeated at the end of Breath of the Wild. And if Deruk's ancestor is going to be in the game, then perhaps we're going to travel back 10,000 years ago and meet the characters from that legend. We're told of a warrior that beat back Ganon all those years ago, and this could potentially be the other Link that we see in the trailers, the one with the long hair and the corrupted arm. So as to whether we're going to actually travel back in time with our current modern day Link and Zelda, or simply travel back in time from a narrative perspective, we don't know just yet. However, Ubaldi gives us clues as to potential story beats for the sequel, when Nintendo are keeping their cards very, very close to their chest. And we don't know anything about the story at the moment, which is why we're jumping on every small detail that releases, and I would imagine that the title for Breath of the Wild 2 is going to reveal some major plot point, but going back to the story of 10,000 years ago, meeting the original champions, and also finding out more about the original hero that defeated Ganon back then, You know, that really makes a lot of sense. And if that is true, I really can't wait for that to happen. Well, let me know down in the comments what you think about these details from Deruk's voice actor, and also, where do you think the story is going to go for Breath of the Wild 2? Well, that is it today for these story predictions for Breath of the Wild 2, and as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Legend of Zelda content like this, hit the subscribe button down below and subscribe to Triforce Times. Or you can check me out on Twitter at Triforce Times. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.